Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm in Azure. Hope you all are doing good and safe wherever you are. So today's agenda is I'm going to demonstrate you how to create Azure PaaS SQL server and how to connect to that SQL server and how to write some basic queries. And inside that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect that SQL server to a Power BI. So that is what I'm going to explain you by using the demo today. So let me start my screen. Okay, so actually this is a request from one of our subscriber who requested me to create an end-to-end video on Azure database, and he is expecting to connect that database in Power BI. So I'm going to create this video in parts because we won't be able to finish everything in one video. So let me start with the SQL Server database, and we're gonna write some queries there. Till that point, I will try to explain in today's session. Okay, so to create a database, we need a resource group. So let me create the resource group first. Okay, so create one. So my resource group name, I'm putting it as I am in Azure, and the region to be East US, and review and create. So this will create me a resource group. Okay, so this is my empty resource group now. So inside this, I'm going to create the resources. So I just clicked on that create button, and we have an option SQL database, or else you can always create it from here by searching it on the top search bar. So this is the subscription. I have to choose the resource group. So this is my resource group, and I have to give the database name. So what I'm going to do is you can create an empty database where you will create your tables, views, or all the database objects from the scratch, or else you can import one existing backpack file. So for that, you have an option in the additional settings here. You can use the existing data. So if you have a backup file, you can use that, or else you can use uh, see, this is the backup. Oh, actually, not the backup file, not the backpack file. Actually, you can restore it from other database. Like if you have something backed up, you can restore it from the other database, or else if you have some restored file, then you can take that as an input here, or else for demo purpose, or else if you want to test this SQL database, you can go with the sample database, which is Adventure DB. Uh, so for demo purpose, I'm going to select this, and so I'm going to put the name as Adventure DB now, Adventure DB. And server name, I have to create a server so that we can host our database. So this is my server name, and the location to be the same, which is East US. And authentication method, we have options to integrate our SQL server with the Azure AD, or else you can go with the basic SQL authentication where you need to provide the your login and password. So I need to provide the admin login, which is I'm in Azure. Then I have to pass a password here. Okay, confirm password. Okay, so this will help me in creating the server, and we have different options. Like you can go with the elastic pool, or else you can create a single database. Uh, so this is actually meant for if you want to save some savings, you can go with the elastic pool where your database or server will be hosted on a shared path. But if you want an individual server, then you can go with this. And we have different compute options as well. I will try to explain them in my next video. So you can select the tiers, like we have two options, vCore and DTU purchase models. So we have two purchasing models. One is vCore based and DTU based. Inside that we have different tiers. So for demo purpose, I can go with the very basic one, which is for less demanding workloads. So you will get a maximum data file size as 2 GB, which is fine for me, and just apply this. And the storage, what kind of backup storage you want, you have different options again. For now, I'm just selecting it as local redundant, and again, each one of these have their importance, so we will cover them going further. Then I'm going to select the networking. Right now, I'm just going it with no access. I'm not changing anything here. Let it be default. Security also, I'm not changing anything. So we actually have different types of additional benefits with the PaaS service, where you can enable your Defender, or else you can enable your TDE, which is a transparent data encryption. So these all are configurations you can set once you create the database also. So I'm just leaving it default now. So I'm not going to add any tags. In the additional settings, we have already chosen the sample database, which is our AdventureWorks. So that is fine. Send tags and review. If you want to add any kind of tags, you can add here. So let's go to review and create. This will create me the database and the SQL Server. So the cost, if you look at this says 360 INR, which is per month, and this is an estimated cost. So we have selected the basic tier. So based on that selection, we will have different cost models, and you have also the serverless model as well in the SQL Server, uh, which is like when you consume your database, then only you will be charged, or else you won't be get charged for the amount of compute you maintain, or else like what kind of tier you choose, that doesn't matter. It's like serverless means it will be up and running whenever you request for it. Then also the other thing, like if you want to go for a cost saving method, where you may know that this database will last for 1 year or 2 years, 5 years from now, and you want to have a fixed database for you, then you can opt for the reserved instances, so which is a benefit again, where you will get some discount. You will get some discount on top of the this consumption. Right now I choose in basic, right? So for basic, it shows per month as 358. If you go for a reserved instance is like you will have an agreement with Microsoft for 1 year or 3 year. Based on that, you will get some discount. So all that pricing model I will try to cover in my next video. So you will get some understanding what I'm talking now, where you will find some cost saving methods, and what all other security features that we have inside our Azure PaaS service. Okay, so if you look at this, deployment is in progress, and the server is already up. Now this is creating the Adventure DB. And one more thing is to connect to this database, which is your Adventure DB or whatever the DB is, and if it is hosted in cloud environment, either it can be AWS, GCP, or Azure, or other cloud environments, you need to whitelist your IP address before you connect to this database. Then only you will be able to connect to this server. So while logging in, you need to pass the login name and the password, and then you will be able to log in only if your IP is whitelisted, or else it will pop up a message saying that you are not your IP is not whitelisted. You need to add it to the server. That I will show in the Go. So right now the deployment is finished. So let's go to the resource. Okay, so this is my SQL DB. So we have different features here on my left navigation tab. So the overview, where you will be able to see which resource group, what is the status, location, what is the pricing tier. If we have enabled this logical pool, we might have seen the information here. Then SQL, what is the server name, If you want to connect to this database by using some programming languages, then you can use these connection strings. Then we don't have the restored point right now, but if you want, you can restore it, or else if you want to export your database, you can export from here. So these all are few features that you can get with your Azure PaaS SQL. So right now it has used 11 MB, which is for my Azure Adventure DB, and this is where you will be able to see your metrics for your compute service. So there are some additional features that database provides, which is TDE, Azure Defender for SQL, then auditing for your queries, then automatic tuning, which will help you optimize your queries. Then if you want to maintain replicas, then you can add replicas. Then data masking feature is one for masking your data, so that you will limit people uh, from viewing the sensitive data. So that is some of the features that it has in his recommendations. Then in activities logs, we will be able to see the logs. Then tags, you can add tags. Then we have a query editor on the portal itself, where you can write the queries directly, or else you can use some third-party tools. So I'm going to use actually SSMS, which is a tool from Microsoft to connect to SQL databases. And I believe the people who are using SQL Server frequently have understanding of what is SSMS and how to use that. Then we have a Power Platform. So how can we connect to this Azure SQL database in different Power Platforms like Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate. Then we have inside settings, we have different options like the compute and storage, where you will be able to see your tier. You can change the tier also when I just hit on that. So initially we have chosen the basic one. If you want to scale up or change the pricing model itself, you can change it here directly. And connection string, as I mentioned, you can use this connection in different programming languages. If you are going with the basic ADO.NET, you can use this JDBC, ODBC, PHP, Go language. So all these are the basic connection strings. Then in the properties, you will be able to see the properties of your database. Then logs is one thing that if you want to secure your database from the deletion, if you want no one can come and delete this, you can add your logs here. Then you have replicas sync to other database. Then it can be integrated with other Azure services like the Stream Analytics, where you can analyze your data. Also, you can add it to Azure Search. So we will look into that later. Then in security, we have different features here: auditing, ledger, data discovery and classification, data masking, security center, TDE, all this. Then intelligent performance will let you know the recommendations or security insights on your database. So which will help you in writing the queries in a better way, or if you have to create some indexes, all those details you will get it here from Microsoft Azure. Then you have monitor sections where you can add alerts, or if you want to look at metrics, you can add them. If you want to save your diagnostic logs to other Azure services like the Event Hub, storage account, all the logs you can add it here. Like if you go here, there are different logs like automatic tuning, then errors, then timeouts, blocks, deadlocks, all these details you can add it to different destinations. Like you can send it to Log Analytics workspace, or if you want to save it to some storage account, you can enable this. Or else if you have an event trigger logic, then you can send it to Event Hub, and from there you can trigger your function app or other Azure functions, which will help you. So these are different logs we have here. You can enable them. Then we have this Log Analytics workspace, which will help you in writing some queries, which will help you to monitor the logs or to get some insights on your database. Then these are different tasks. We will look into this further, going further. So I mentioned like we need to whitelist our IP address. So for that, you can go here like set server firewall. You will be able to add your IP on the server. So you can go here like to the server, or else you can directly add it here. So let's just go to server first. So this is my SQL server. So here you will be able to see your firewall settings. Again, here you will have different features for this server as well. So if you want to export, you can export. If you want to configure firewalls, the way same here. So if you want to limit some IP addresses, then you can limit that by creating a virtual network and add it here. If you want to connect to this database, you can add your rule here. So this is my IP. So I have to as I mentioned, I have to whitelist my IP address. So I'm adding my IP here. So if you have a if you have a range of IPs, you can add it in the range like start IP and end IP. Then we have the TLS version as well. So all these values, right now I'm keeping it all to be default, and let's just save this. So once I saved this, this means my IP is whitelisted on the server. So this is done. So now I will be able to connect to my database. So let's connect to database. So as I mentioned, I will be using the third-party tool, which is SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. So here you need to come and connect. You can download it directly from the Microsoft Microsoft website. You can just search for SSMS. So we have different versions, 2016, 14, 14, 16, 19. So you can download based on your requirement. So you need to pass your server name. So the server name you can copy from here. So this is your server name. Then you need to pass your login, which is the same one. Then you need to pass your password. So this is, I'm connecting now. Oh, failed. I believe I wrong spelled my password, maybe. Okay. So I'm able to connect now. So if you miss to add your IP address, then a pop-up will come saying your IP address is not added to the server. You can add it directly from here, where it will just ask for your sign in. So once you signed in there, it will automatically add your IP. So I'm connected to database. So you will be able to see my database here, which is AdventureDB, and inside this we have all the sample tables. So these are the tables. So let's just write some basic select queries on them. So let's select this and new query. Okay, so let's see the products data. Select the star from sales ID dot product. So this sales ID is the schema. So let's just run a query on this. So we have some sample data with 295 records, which has the product ID, product name, some product number, then color, different things here. Then we have sales order detail. Let's look at that data as well. Select star from sales order. Okay, so if I run this query again, I will have some data which includes the sales order ID. I have product ID here, then unit price, then line total. That means this is the cost of sale, which is one quantity into this unit price. This is your total cost. So I'm now going to create a simple join query where I will get the product name from the product table, and this total line cost from this sales order details table. So the basic query will be, so let's start with the select statement first. Select star from sales product table. I'm going to give an alias for this, which is by p inner join. So I hope you have some understanding on joins. So we have different types of joins, like inner join, outer join, left outer join, right outer join. So inner join is where where you will get data if you have data in both the tables. Right now I'm using these two tables, right? The product table and sales order table. So if you have data in both the tables with your on statement, so in the on statement I will be passing product ID equal to, okay, I have to give an alias for this as well, or else I need to use the whole table name there. So instead I'm going to use the alias. So sd dot product ID. Yeah. So right now this product ID inside this sales order table is a foreign key, uh, and it's a foreign key from this product table. So I am using that in my on condition. So what this query will return is for all the product IDs that present in product should be there in the sales order detail table as well. So only those records I will get. Rest of the records, let's say if my sales order detail has some additional product IDs, but that will not be the case because it's a foreign key. We have a foreign key constraint. But if we have those, then we will not be able to fetch them if we use the inner join. But to get some better understanding on joins, please go through some tutorials or some documentation. You will understand it because they have some better visualization. So now if I have to run this, what this will give me is this will list all the columns from both the tables. Now I'm interested in the product, the product name, which is p dot name, comma, st dot total line cost, st dot line total, yes. Okay, so now if I run this, let me just order by as well by the product name, so that I will be able to show you something here. So when I list this, what you see is for AWC logo cap, I have different rows here. So if I want to add it to only one row, which is for each product name, I should get only one record, which is sum of all this line total. Then I can use the aggregate functions. So we have different type of aggregate functions inside Azure, inside SQL Server. So you will be able to locate them in the functions. So if you go here and if you look at the system functions, you have different functions. So right now I need aggregated functions, which is listed here. You have different functions like the AVG, average, count, max, grouping, min, max, different types of functions. Otherwise, if you are going with some date functions, you have a date, add date, diff, date name, date part, get date. All these are different functions again, which are for date and time. If you want to work with date and time related data, then mathematical functions, you have different mathematical functions. You will be able to see it here, like the ceiling, sine, cos, all this square, but that's fine. Then we have the most frequently functions, which is string functions. You will have the left, right, length, then L trim, replace, R trim, string split, substring. All these are different functions that is supposed by SQL Server. So right now I need to sum up all this line total. So I will use the sum function here, sum of this. And when I run this now, it will fail because I need to say we need to look only one record for the name. So we need to group all this as a single item. Then only this query will have some meaning. Otherwise, it will again list all the names here, and it will list all the sum of line totals. But actually, it will fail, saying that you haven't grouped by anything. So if you look at this query now, what it says is your column product name is invalid in the select statement because it is not contained in the aggregate function. It has to be in the aggregate function, or else it need to be grouped by. So we need to group that, then only we will be able to see each item as single row. So we need to group it now, or else we need to use it in the use it with the function, aggregate function. So this is fine now. So now I will be able to see one record for each product. So this is my output, which says my log cap has 277. Let's say it is in dollars. So this is the consumption. And then this is the consumption for this product. So similarly, we have 142 products. So let's create a view for this so that I will be able to use this in Power BI. So create view VW underscore, what is this? Total cost by product. Let's name this view as this. And if you look at this, this column doesn't have any name. So let's add name here. So I can use as statement, sorry, as keyword to give an alias. I'm going to as total cost. Yeah, just run this. So you will have a view. What it says, the order by class, the order by class is invalid in views. Okay, so we don't need actually this order by, which is fine. So let's remove that and run this. Okay, so this statement is completed. So let's run a select query on this view now and see. Select star from this view. So this will list me this everything, like the query that we have written, it all comes in this view. So now I'm going to use this view inside a Power BI. So I will show you how to connect to the Power BI with the SQL Server and generate a very basic visualize. So again, Power BI, we all know that it is a software, or else it's an application which comes handy to show all your data in a visualization format. There are other benefits as well, but I'm not a Power BI guy much. I'm not, I haven't worked much on Power BI, but to give you a basic understanding, you can fetch data from different sources. Like the data can be in some storage like blob storage or some file share, or else it can be on SQL Server. It can be on-premise, or else it can be hosted on some cloud environment. You can get that data and you can show it in a visualization way. So the tool that I'm going to use is again the basic one, which is Power BI desktop tool. And once you have all those visualizations, or else the tables, all those in your Power BI, you can just publish it to Power BI service, which is a SaaS service again. So when you install the Power BI desktop, this is how it looks. So you can import data from different sources. So to get data to start with, you need to get your data here. So get data. So here you have different options. As I mentioned, you can get it from different sources like the SQL Server, Analytical Server, CSV file, or you can directly call an API and get that data. Or else if you look at more, you have other different options as well. So I just clicked on that more. So here you have all these data sources. So Google Big Data, Azure Blob, Azure Cosmos, Azure Table Storage, all this. There are n number of sources you can use with Power BI. So we are interested with Azure SQL PaaS service. So inside Azure itself, there are different services that it helps you. So let's just select this database and click on connect here. So when you click on connect, it will ask you the server details. So my server is again this one. So here again, you need to whitelist your IP address, then only we'll be able to connect. So I have already whitelisted it and I connected through SSMS. So I won't face any issues. So in the connectivity mode also, you have two options. One is import and direct query. So import will import every day, all the data present in your database to this Power BI and run the reports on top of that data. But if you use this direct query, it will fetch from the DB. So let's just, there is some other advantages and limitations with the direct query as well. So let's see. Okay, so this started connecting. So you need to connect with your credentials. So I don't have the Windows login for this. So I have to pass my username and password. So I selected the database here, and I'm passing my username and password. Okay, let's connect now. So once you get connected, it will list all the tables, views, functions uh, there in your DB. So you see this Adventure DB now. So this has 20 different objects, which includes the views, the different tables, the function calls as well. So this is the view that we have. So you just need to select it here and load. So this will load me on the table here. So it's just creating connection. So this is loaded here. So now you will be able to see your table or view here. So these are the two columns that I have. One is name and the total cost. Let's just see it in one visualization. Let's use the bar chart. Sorry, the column chart. So I'm going to use my name and cost as my uh, x-axis and y-axis. So this is how it will look. So the idea is just to show how you can connect to SQL database and how you can uh, show it on visualization. So if you want to filter out some of these names, you can always filter out from here. So if you want to filter the cost, you can filter that as well based on your conditions. There are less than, greater than, different options. Hope you like the content. So this is what I thought to explain you today. Um, if you find this content to be helpful, I just need your support. So please share this content with the ones who need this, and please like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Also, one more thing is, if you have any questions or if you have any feedback or you need something on Azure, uh, please drop a message on the comment section. So I will be reviewing that, and if possible, I will create a video on that. Uh, if I know the topic, then I will create it immediately. If I need some time, then I will take the time, and I will definitely create that content on my channel. So hope you like the content. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for your love and help. Yeah, that's all for now. I will come up with a next video very soon. Thank you so much.